down. And even now, if I ask a favor, somebody in the district always responds immediately to if I need something or whatever. So thank you all very much.
We now have John Lowe, who nominated Ed Taylor.
Good evening. Almost 20 years ago, I was a nervous young man who took over a program and had to fill the shoes of a giant. To me, he was the legend in Clinton, North Carolina. I was so nervous. He called me soon after I was appointed to the position, and I didn't know what to say. It's hard to imagine how many lives Mr. Taylor has impacted over all those years. I know he had a great impact on mine. He's a treasured mentor. He introduced me to yet another one of my mentors who has known Mr. Taylor for many years, and I'm going to turn the rest of the presentation over to Mr. Bob Buckner in just a moment, but it's an honor and a privilege to recognize Mr. Ed Taylor as our inductee into the Hall of Fame.
Ed Taylor on a football field at Cary Band Day in 1972, and little did I know what I was getting into. This has been a friendship that's lasted almost 40 years. He's been a mentor to me, although I don't think he really realizes how much of one. He taught in one school for 37 years, and many of the years that I worked with him, he taught every student from grade 6 through grade 12 in that band, and his bands were consistently excellent. Received his first superior rating in 1958 in grade 3, and he pointed out to me that that was a time when you had to go to district to qualify to go to state, where you got your final rating. He had bands that were superior bands in grade 6 in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. When you started in the 60s, and I remember this because I was in high school, you played a march and 4 selections. And if you played grade 6, you played a lot of transcriptions. And he did this by himself. And he taught his kids such values, and it was always such a pleasure to go work with him. When he got interested in marching band, he did that the same way. I remember traveling with Ed to drum corps shows in Philadelphia. He was constantly learning his entire career. And when I visited with him Don and I visited with him about a month ago, still the same thing. He's still inquisitive. He still wants to know what's going on. He wants to know how to get things better. I'll tell one quick story. I went to a rehearsal one night, and there were about 10 people missing. It was about 6 o'clock in Clinton, and I said, Ed, where are all these kids? He said, don't worry, they'll be here. And about 5 minutes later, kids started coming from the football practice field, still wearing part of their uniforms. And he had worked it out with the football coach that the kids could play football and be in the marching band, mainly because his son Jeffrey was a quarterback, and apparently they needed them both. I would say that he was a mentor to many, and I said including me, and he remains a dear friend and a shining example of our profession. If you're a young band director and you would like to be a Hall of Famer, you need to look no further. This is the man you need to look up to, Mr. Ed Taylor.
Thank you so very much. I'd like to thank John for sponsoring me and for Bob for all those kind words. He was even nicer than I thought he would be. But this is quite an honor for me tonight. It's kind of a highlight of my career. I'm quite old now. But this is quite an honor. I feel like that I fulfilled what I set out to do when I went into the band deal, and thanks to Bob Buckner that we became friends. when I saw his band in Cary, I was convinced that I could play Junior Joins the Band or some other song by making a circle and naming it Your Sweetheart or something. And I could get by with that until I saw Bob in Cary and I realized what a marching band is supposed to be like. So I got Bob to come down and work with my band, and we formed a friendship there that lasted from 72 till 91. And I was most blessed that he was there. And in the symphonic band, I started off with grade 3 in 1958, and little by little went all the way to grade 6, superior rating grade 6, and all the way up to 91. So I feel like I am most blessed, and I am glad that to be here tonight. I have quite a few band students here tonight. I wish they would stand up. My son Barry and Jeff Tart, Larry Bell, Larry Wells, Phyllis, thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, and let's give another round of applause to our 2011 Hall of Fame